everything you need to know about this famous Orange County, California community. It's a gated community. Let's get started. So here we are in Orange County, California, and let's talk about a part of Orange County that is kind of magical in a way. It's actually, whenever I go there, Sean's there a lot more than me because he works with the clients. Whenever I go there, I'm always saying to myself, wow, I forgot how nice it is here. I just love it here so much. It is a gated community, and we're going to talk about why Sean feels like there's so much value. I mean, this place we're going to talk about, it ain't cheap. Like, let's be real here. But what you get for what you're paying for, especially when in comparison to some other similar communities in the general vicinity, it's actually, you know, Sean really, really likes it. So let's talk about...
Well, I have to just interject. So, because it ain't cheap, but it's got great value.
Yeah.
And our son has just started to learn the concept of value, which is, so near and dear to my heart.
Yeah. He's like, Dad,
is this cheap?
Is it cheap or is it good value?
And I'm like, aw.
Yeah, so we're talking about Coto de Caza. And we do, so if you're wondering what it looks like in Coto de Caza, obviously we'll show you B-roll here. But if you want a full tour, we do have a full tour of Coto de Caza. Very beautiful part of Orange County. And we have a full tour. I would link to that at the end. So let's talk about, you want to start with the value of it. So you want to talk about how much it is, what you get for the price. So remember, this all right here, this is all gated. This is a reason that people love Coto de Caza because of the gates, right?
Yeah, inevitably, I get clients that really want, let's say, some people really want a gated community.
Yeah.
Totally understand that. It's a nice thing to have for sure.
Yeah.
And so what's interesting though is that they want a good amount of, a good sized parcel, it's a good sized lot.
Mm-hmm.
They also want a good sized house.
Yeah.
And that's very subjective because some of these houses are pretty massive. And then also they want to be gated community and they have a certain price range in mind. And it is very hard to find big lot, big home, gated, and not to say cheap, but like not absolutely just crazy expensive.
Yeah.
And so Coto de Caza shockingly has fantastic value, and you can find those three components of it.
Yeah.
Especially for the fact that Coto de Caza has name brand notoriety. It actually has the Ritz factor. So it's one of those things like, if you're looking at some other communities, you're like, yeah, you can find it, but no one knows what they are. Not to say that matters, but usually there is a premium to something that's kind of known, right? Like the Ritz factor premium. And Coto de Caza, you almost have a discount, which is kind of weird. So I find Coto de Caza just completely awesome. So before we continue, let's introduce ourselves. I'm Sean Dezad.
And I'm Courtney Dezad.
And we're licensed real estate agents here in the state of California. And if you're watching this channel, you might be thinking, wow, Sean, I love Orange County. I love the beautiful blue skies. I love the Pacific Ocean. I love the perfect weather. I can't wait to move in here now. The problem is I'm not local. I may be out of state. I may be even out of the country, so I don't know what to do. I totally get that. That's why you're going to reach out to us. We can have that conversation, find out specifically what you're looking for, and be your boots on the ground. We can actually find out specifically what you're looking for, and I'll give you virtual tours of not just the properties, but the neighborhoods as well. So that way, when you do come out here, your time is spent super efficiently. So what you want to do is you want to give us a call or shoot us a text.
Yes, that number is a cell phone, so you can call us or text us, or you can use WhatsApp if you're outside the country. Yeah, and then another thing about Coto de Caza in terms of the value. So people love Ladera Ranch as well, and there is a gated part of Ladera Ranch, but Sean can speak to it better than me. Doesn't this gated part tend to be a lot more expensive?
For the same property, yes.
For the same property, yeah.
Exactly.
So, yeah, that's just another thing. I mean, just right here, another very popular community, Ladera Ranch, but the value for Coto de Caza is better when you're talking about the gated.
For me, it's very hard to argue. And what's nice about Coto de Caza, too, is that it's not super new, right? So a lot of stuff is built pre-2000, and so it's not super old. You have some stuff that's definitely built in the 70s and stuff, but most of it was built, I would say, between the 80s and 2000. And so what's nice about that is that you're dealing with homes that don't really have mellow roofs in general. So what mellow roofs is that it's a tack on to property taxes to fund new infrastructure, so new roads, fire departments, schools, that kind of stuff. And that could be, a few $1,000s a year. It could be nearly doubling your property tax rate depending on where you are. So it's definitely something to consider. And so what's nice about Coto de Caza is that it's not that expensive. And then, in fact, actually the HOA dues in Coto de Caza are not that expensive. They're in the, lowish mid 200s. For, again, you're a gated community. So you're going to have that cost because you're having to maintain the roads. Once you're gated, the HOA maintains the roads and everything. So you're having to deal with the gate attendants, all that stuff. Yeah. You have community amenities as well. But they keep the price actually relatively low because, again, this is about 5,100 units that are in this Coto de Caza community. So it's kind of dispersed amongst everybody. And again, it's not so it's not super expensive for the HOA dues. And what thing they did that was really smart is that they do have like a central location where they have like the Coto de Caza, like, you know, tennis and, you know, like the tennis club and everything, and golf club. Basically, what's nice about it is that you're not forced to have to do it. So you can have a social membership where you have access to the fitness center, the pools and stuff, because let's be real, a lot of these homes already have pools, so you don't necessarily need the social membership. So if you want to have a social membership, it's a few $100s per month. If you want to have that, if you want to be part of the golf club, there is an initiation fee, as well as it's, you know, I don't know, like $600 or so for the golf club membership. So if you want to utilize that, all that stuff, you can certainly pay for it, but you're not forced to just by being a resident there.
And just to make it clear, so this green part right here, this is a golf course, and maybe I just wasn't paying attention to Sean. So there is
the story of my life.
More like the pot calling the kettle black. But wait, so there's an initiation fee, and it's not.
And it
necessarily,
could be substantial. Right?
Yeah, it could be substantial. Yeah. So, but obviously, not everyone cares, right? Like, if I lived here, I wouldn't care about being part of the golf club.
Exactly. It's just but if you're an avid golfer, you know, you want to be part of it. And also, there are different times of year where the initiation, or different times where the initiation fee can vary. So sometimes it's actually really not that expensive at all for that initial initiation fee. Sometimes it's rather significant. So you kind of want to play that by ear, or like just kind of see where it's going, where the demand is at that moment in time.
And I'm assuming there's sometimes a waiting list, right?
Sometimes there is, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Okay, Sean knows tons about Coto de Caza. He's done a lot of, he's had a lot of buyers in here, so he knows a lot about it. I don't know. So so I'm questioning Sean as if I were a client. So anyways, let's talk about the pricing too. So first, let's just go to Orange County and do the median home price for single-family homes.
And this is the entire county, right?
This is the entire county, right? So it's 1.4, and then we can go to Coto and see what it is. And obviously it's more, right? But, I mean, it's not significantly more, I feel like.
And again, of course...
And then you want to compare it to Irvine?
Well, and also we have to note this, though, too, right?
Okay.
So the thing is that it can vary dramatically. It's like 18 homes sold in a month is so few that... minor skews, because these homes, they can certainly range, below, like that mid 1 million range for single family residents, but then they can go to many millions,
there's some
depending.
huge
multi-acre lots and
huge estates in Coto.
So,
huge.
10,000 square foot houses, like 5 acres, so equestrian estate. So depending on what's selling in a given month, when you have so few selling currently, it can very much skew things. So we're not seeing this huge price reduction from 2.5 to under 2. Like, that's not really what's happening. What's happening is that what's happening with the homes the actual homes themselves that are selling are shifting with that price point.
Yeah, it's the sample size. It's an issue with sample size, right?
Yes.
But then you want to compare to Irvine, because Irvine's obviously, it's kind of like the golden boy, right, of Orange County. People love Irvine. But look at the price of Irvine.
Yes.
It's more than Coto de Caza.
Which, if you were to tell someone, I live in Irvine or I live in Coto de Caza, I would have to think, again, to me personally, maybe I'm just too in this, that Coto de Caza has a higher degree of clout, right? It just has it has that notoriety of being a ritzy area.
Yeah.
Irvine's not really known for being ritzy per se.
No.
Not that it doesn't have its spots, for sure. It's just that as a general whole, it just doesn't really have that name brand recognition from that perspective of ritziness.
Yeah, I feel like Irvine is, what people think of Irvine is, it's suburbia, right? It's suburbia, whereas Coto de Caza, I feel like people think of it as...
Real Housewives of Orange County.
Yeah, if you say you live in Coto, people are like, oh, wow, you live in Coto?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if you say, you don't have to say, I live in Coto de Caza. You say, I live in Coto. You don't put the last 2 words in. You just, Coto is Coto. And
then let's talk about the school district. Coto is part of the Capistrano Unified School District. Irvine is famous for the Irvine Unified School District. Irvine Unified gets an A+, so does Capistrano. Capistrano is the largest school district in Orange County. I mean, look at how huge that is.
That is a massive school district.
There's a ton of cities, but what's nice is that you look at it, it's a lot of them are A's. So.
Seriously.
So Coto is, they've got some, highly ranked schools around it.
Tesoro is really well regarded.
Mm-hmm. And then, people that are in Coto, because there's a lot of different sort of programs like charter schools, language
in Capistrano,
in Capistrano, language immersion programs. A lot of people from Coto, they choose to go out of Coto for school every day. I mean, it's not uncommon at all to see that. And then now let's just talk about some.
I have to make a disclaimer about the education stuff. That okay? So even though it's rated high. So what I like about Coto compared to Irvine, honestly, is the fact that you do have more options to transfer to other schools. You're not as so Irvine, you're kind of dead set on, okay, wherever you're zoned for is where you're going to go. In Coto, there are more options. Not to say that it's a foregone conclusion, but there are more options for you to go to, like that charter school that looks interesting, or that dual language immersion school, because in Capistrano Unified, you have more options from that perspective. Now, what I will always say is that schools, like, you want to kind of get the data, which is great, but also it's really beneficial for you to talk to the school administrators of where you want your child to go to, if that's what you're looking to do, and also reach out to parents of pupils that are already there, like making sure that it's like, as much as possible, it's a good fit for your aspiring young pupil.
Yeah, and then let's just talk about the general location of Coto. Obviously, one of the things people don't like about it is that it is kind of out there in the boonies. So here's Irvine. This is the geographic center of Orange County. So you have that issue of being kind of far out there. I mean, I will say, though, that to get from the 5 to Coto de Caza, it's actually not. I mean, that takes you about 10 minutes, right?
Probably about 15.
15 minutes right there. I mean, obviously with no traffic, but anytime we've gone, I don't feel like it's been...
It's not like a terrible drive.
No,
also,
no.
these are major arteries that gets you to there, so it's not like you're taking winding side roads to get there, right? So this is relatively easy to get to Coto, and also, if you want, you're right next to the 241 freeway there, which is a toll road. But again, if you're buying in Coto, maybe you're like, you know what, I'm living the posh life anyway. Well, I'll just kind of splurge on basically, like having the tolls, right? So like it's just up to you. But yeah, so you have the 241 as an option. The 5 freeway, though, is obviously just one of the major arteries in the entire state. So that's right there. And
you're relatively, sorry to interrupt you, I just totally interrupted you, but you're relatively close to the Irvine Spectrum Center, which is a huge commercial hub.
Yeah, job hub,
for jobs and for shopping, dining. You
have the shops at Mission Viejo, which is nice as well.
Yeah,
I mean, I will say that one ding on Coto de Caza, is a couple dings, but but not many, right? So, but one of the things is that they don't actually have really within its borders shopping, right? They have
there's nothing inside here.
Nothing inside here. So you're going to either right outside the gates in Rancho Santa Margarita, you have some stuff,
which actually
it's not bad actually
for a small city. It has really good restaurants and shopping.
Yeah, it's right outside the gates.
I will give Rancho Santa Margarita that. We have friends that live here.
It's one of our unicorn cities.
Yeah, and they always invite us to dinner, and I'm like, wow, this restaurant was really good. Yeah. So. And
then the shops at Mission Viejo is good sized mall. It has kind of your basics, right? Like you still have your Nordstrom, your Macy's, your Cheesecake Factory type stuff. So it's got tons of shopping options. Lots of shopping around Coto, just not in Coto. And obviously, if you're looking at this location here, it's going to be elevated fire danger. Yeah, that's just you're abutting the Cleveland National Forest.
Yeah, this is the Cleveland National Forest right here, and it's not green except for maybe no, not even here. It's not green. It's not green. It's brush. It's brush. It's SoCal brush. I actually find it quite beautiful, but that may be because I was born and raised here. I have Stockholm syndrome, and I've run throughout these golden hills of California my whole life. So to me, there's nostalgia. But I think, objectively speaking, it's not that pretty.
It's not, And so the thing is that, just so you're aware, though, it does have elevated fire danger. So with that comes, obviously, higher fire insurance. So you want to, you're going to want to do your due diligence. We can send you, if you're interested, we can send you a map that show, okay, is what areas are zoned for higher fire danger or not. Not that it's a deal breaker, and I guess for us, on a subjective measure, I would certainly not have that dissuade me from buying in Coto.
No, I wouldn't either.
But at the same time, some people really just want to avoid it, and obviously, I totally appreciate that.
Yeah, we're SoCal natives, so to us, depending on where you're from, there's always some natural disaster, right? So for us, we're fires. I mean, it's not something that's on the forefront of my consciousness on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, and obviously, if you want to kind of this is an this is an overview. We do have, like you mentioned, and actually, I guess we can do an end frame where showing, we do have tours of Coto de Caza because it is a fantastic area. I really like Coto de Caza a lot.
It's so beautiful. I just love it. Yeah. I love it.
And remember, we are licensed realtors here in the state of California. So as much as we love making these videos, what we love more is to help you with your real estate needs. So whether you're looking to buy or sell a home, what you want to do is you want to give us a call or shoot us a text.
Yes, that number is a cell phone, so you can call us or text us, or you can use WhatsApp if you're outside the country.